Today, we're exploring a really interesting world. Imagine a mystery where finding the truth, the objective truth, isn't really the point.
Right, where the goal is actually more about creating a truth, crafting a narrative that works.
Exactly. It's like the puzzle isn't whodunit, it's more how do we convince everyone?
Yeah.
And that's the core idea behind the anime series, Kyokou Suiri. You might know it as Spectre.
It's such a clever twist on the genre.
It really is. It blends supernatural stuff, mystery, a bit of romance, and honestly, some pretty deep philosophy. And it centers on these two fascinating main characters. You've got Kotoko Iwanaga first. She looks small, but she's this revered goddess of wisdom for spirits. Made a deal, cost her an eye and a leg, literally.
A physical price for spiritual insight, yeah. Very folkloric.
And then there's her partner, Kuro Sakuragawa. Seems like just a normal guy, university student.
But he is anything but normal.
Not at all. He's immortal, and his whole existence just throws a wrench into the natural order. Spirits are terrified of him.
Yeah, they don't just dislike him, they actively flee. He's toxic to them.
So you've got this really unusual pairing.
And like you said, what makes the show stand out is how it deliberately plays with the mystery format. It's not about finding facts.
Nope.
It's about constructing a reality, a satisfying story, using logic and lies. It really is how to convince them, not whodunit.
Right. So our mission today, for you, is to explore how Kyokou Suiri uses traditional Japanese folklore, things like kami and yōkai, and kind of reworks them.
To comment on some really modern ideas, actually.
Yeah, ideas about truth, how powerful stories can be, and how reality gets shaped, especially now, in our digital age.
It connects ancient beliefs with online phenomena in a really smart way.
It does, so expect some surprising connections. Okay, let's get into it.
Sounds good.
All right, so to really get Kyokou Suiri, you got to understand the basics of its supernatural world. We need to talk about kami and yōkai.
The foundations, yeah.
So kami, these are like spiritual beings, deities, often tied to nature mountains, waterfalls, the sea.
Or sometimes historical figures who've been deified.
Right, and people build shrines, they venerate them. They believe kami can bring protection, good fortune, or disaster if you tick them off.
Standard Shinto concepts, really. Benevolence and wrath, depending on respect.
Then you have yōkai, and this term is, well, it's a lot broader, isn't it?
Oh, much broader. Monster, demon, apparition. None of those translations quite capture it fully.
The word itself, the kanji, means something like bewitching or calamity, plus mystery or wonder.
Exactly. It covers everything from, scary, vengeful ghosts like on Ryu to trickster shapeshifters like Kitsune or Tanuki. Bakemono is another term you hear.
It's a huge category. And like kami, they're seen as impacting the human world.
Absolutely. And what's really key here, and something Japanese folklore emphasizes, is how fluid the line is between kami and yōkai. It's not like a strict good versus evil separation you might see elsewhere.
How so?
Well, influenced by Shinto and Taoism, spirits can have these dual aspects. There's the Niji Mitama, which is the peaceful, gentle side. And then there's the Aramitama, the rough, violent, destructive side. Same entity, different modes.
Like two sides of the same coin.
Pretty much. So a kami that gets neglected or angered might show its Aramitama side and act like a destructive yōkai.
Ah, I see.
And conversely, a powerful, feared yōkai that people start respecting, maybe appeasing properly, could eventually become seen as a protective kami. Their status isn't fixed.
It depends on how humans interact with them.
Yeah.
Belief and action.
Exactly. Human belief and actions shape their nature and role. And that idea is absolutely central to how the world works in Kyokou Suiri.
And the anime really runs with that ambiguity. They use all sorts of terms, right? Yōkai, kai, ayakashi, ma.
Reflecting that traditional vagueness. It avoids simple labels.
And the yōkai in the show, they aren't just mindless monsters. They're shown as having their own society, their own problems.
Conflicts, needs, a desire for order, they're characters, really, not just obstacles.
Which brings us neatly to Kotoko, because she's the one they turn to.
Right, their mediator.
So let's talk about Kotoko Iwanaga, the goddess of wisdom. Her origin's pretty wild. Age 11, spirited away by yōkai.
Yeah, and they basically offer her a job. Become our god of wisdom.
And she says yes, but it costs her her right eye and her left leg.
A very physical, very permanent exchange that establishes her authority in their world.
And that, look, the one-eyed, one-legged thing, Ichigani Soku, you mentioned, it's folkloric.
Oh, definitely. It's not just a random detail. It's a classic symbol in Japanese folklore and myth.
Like what?
Well, it links her to figures like Kubiko, who's a scarecrow kami of wisdom, knows everything but can't walk. Or Ameno Mahitotsu no Kami, a blacksmith god, also one-eyed, one-legged.
Huh.
In tradition, these features often mark someone who bridges worlds, someone with shamanic power. It signifies they've paid a price for that access. Her appearance immediately signals her liminal status.
So she's this bridge. Her job is basically keeping order, Chitsujo, among the spirits. Mediator, judge, problem solver.
They call her Uhisama, which is like princess or goddess, a term of real respect.
Yeah.
She functions like a modern shaman, an intermediary.
But her methods are, they're modern, aren't they? She uses her brain, logic, and crucially, deception, strategic lies.
Exactly. Not prayers or rituals, intellect and narrative control. That's her toolkit.
And that's a really interesting point when you contrast her power, which is rooted in this, tangible, physical sacrifice, this old contract, with the antagonist from season 1, Steel Lady Nanas.
Ah, yes, the perfect contract.
Because Nanas is born from something completely different, right? Just internet belief. Anonymous clicks on a website.
Purely virtual. No history, no physical cost, just collective crowdsourced imagination given form.
So it sets up this clash, ancient earned authority versus modern manufactured consensus.
A clash of realities, really fascinating stuff.
Okay, let's switch over to Kuro Sakuragawa, Kotoko's partner, and kind of her opposite in many ways.
Definitely. If Kotoko is the bridge, Kuro is. Well, he's a roadblock, a violation.
The spirits hate him, fear him. His flesh is poison to them.
Consuming it kills them horribly. His very presence disrupts the supernatural order.
And his origin is just grim.
Yeah.
His family was doing these awful experiments.
Trying to gain immortality, yeah. Horrific stuff, forcing children to consume parts of supernatural creatures.
And Kuro ended up consuming the flesh of a Ningyo, a mermaid, which gives him immortality and regeneration.
And also a Kudan, that prophecy beast we mentioned earlier.
Which gives him another ability we'll get into.
Yeah.
But the whole origin story, it really makes you ask that question, doesn't it?
What's the real monster here?
Exactly. The things his human family did seem way worse than what most of the yōkai get up to.
It flips that whole trope. Humans consuming the supernatural for power, not the other way around. The cruelty is entirely human-driven.
So Kuro ends up this paradox. Victim, monster, human, not quite yōkai. He exists in that blurred space.
Constantly challenging our and your definition of monstrosity.
Right. And this sets us up perfectly to talk about how the show adapts specific folklore, because it gets really creative. Let's start with the Kudan.
Okay, so traditionally the Kudan is this cow-like creature with a human face. Born from a cow, lives a few days, speaks one major prophecy.
Like war or plague or a good harvest.
Exactly. And its prophecy is considered absolute truth. Kudan no Gotoshi, as the Kudan said, meaning it's undeniable, pure fatalism, really.
Okay, so that's the tradition. How does Kuro's power work having consumed its flesh? It's not just predicting things, is it?
Not at all. It's active. When Kuro dies, and remember, he's immortal, so he can die repeatedly, he gets to see multiple possible future timelines branching from that moment.
Wow.
And he can choose one of those futures, select an outcome, and then his immortality kicks in, he regenerates, and that chosen future becomes the fixed reality.
So he dies, scouts the possibilities, picks the best one, and essentially hits reset into that timeline.
You got it. He shapes reality through choice, activated by death.
That's huge. A complete inversion of the original Kudan.
Absolutely. It shifts from unavoidable fate to radical agency. The traditional Kudan represented a future you couldn't change. Kuro's power is all about changing the future by actively selecting it.
He's like an editor of reality.
That's a great way to put it. And notice the parallel to Kotoko. She doesn't find the truth. She assesses possibilities and constructs the most effective narrative.
Right. Both of them are building reality, either through Kuro's existential choices or Kotoko's narrative ones.
Exactly. Choice is central to both their powers.
Okay, let's look at another one, the Yukiona, the snow woman. Classic figure.
Very famous yōkai. Usually portrayed as beautiful, ethereal, but dangerous.
Freezes travelers, sucks out life force, that kind of thing. Sometimes tragic love stories that end badly.
Generally alien, perilous to humans, that's the common image.
But season 2 gives her a really different treatment, doesn't it? Much more sympathetic.
Oh, very much so. She still has her powers, but the story focuses on her capacity for genuine, lasting love, even kindness.
Her whole arc is about helping the human man she loves, trying to prove his innocence.
It really humanizes her, gives her depth, beyond just being a beautiful, cold spirit. A great example of the show adapting folklore with nuance.
And there are others too, like that guardian serpent, the Nushi no Orochi.
Right, a local nature deity, a kami tied to a specific place. His concern isn't human good or evil. It's about the proper customs of his territory being violated.
It's like when someone dumps a body, messing up the local spiritual ecosystem.
Exactly. He gets confused, seeks Kotoko's wisdom. It reinforces that idea of a living supernatural world with its own rules, very Shinto animist.
So these adaptations are key, but the big test case where everything comes together is that Steel Lady Nanas arc.
Definitely the centerpiece of season 1, yeah. It pulls all these threads together.
So Steel Lady Nanas looks like an idol ghost, wields a steel beam, face is messed up. But she's not a normal ghost.
No, she's a kai, a strange phenomenon. And crucially, she's born from collective human imagination, specifically from rumors and belief amplified by one of those online summary sites.
Her existence is literally powered by clicks and comments.
It's fascinating. You can think of it like a modern digital version of that old ritual, the Haiku Monogatari Keidankai.
100 ghost stories.
Yeah, where telling stories was believed to potentially summon a real ghost. This summary site does the same thing, but massively scaled up asynchronously using modern tech.
It shows how quickly myths can become real now.
And dangerously real in this case.
So Kotoko has to fight this thing that's basically made of belief. And she figures out pretty quickly that just saying she's not real won't work.
Right. That might even make it stronger, the Streisand effect, you know? Denying something can sometimes give it more attention.
So her strategy isn't truth versus lie, it's better lies.
Essentially, yes. She needs to create a more compelling fiction, a story or stories that are more logically satisfying, more emotionally resonant than the simple, vengeful ghost narrative.
She calls it fictional reasoning, Kyokou Suiri, the title of the show.
Exactly. It's about crafting plausible lies that hijack the narrative, satisfy the audience's need for explanation, and ultimately drain the monster of the belief that sustains it.
She's not aiming for the capital T truth. She's building a functional truth. A story that works to restore order.
It's almost like applied philosophy. It touches on ideas like the Buddhist two truths, conventional reality versus ultimate reality. Kotoko operates purely in the conventional, manipulating shared stories.
You could even call it like narrative engineering.
Or hermeneutic fictionalism, if you want to get academic. Engaging in make-believe discourse to achieve a valuable social outcome, maintaining order between worlds.
And the climax is wild. It's basically a debate battle on that website's forum.
Right. Kotoko throws out not one, but 4 different, completely contradictory solutions to the Steel Lady Nanas mystery.
Each designed to appeal to a different kind of online commenter. The skeptic, the conspiracy nut.
The romantic, the cynic. She plays to the crowd.
And the goal isn't to get everyone to agree on one of her lies.
No, the goal is to shatter the consensus. To introduce so much doubt, so many plausible alternatives, that the single unifying belief in Steel Lady Nanas fractures.
If everyone believes something slightly different, the core belief weakens. And the monster dissolves.
Precisely. It's brilliant, really, undermining the monster by pluralizing the narrative around it.
And then the final twist revealing the real antagonist behind it all.
Kuro's cousin, Rika Sakuragawa, who has the same powers as him.
She orchestrated the whole thing, used the internet to create this powerful kai.
Yeah. Her goal was to create a kami, basically, a being powerful enough through collective belief that it could grant her wish to become normal, to lose her immortality.
Wow. So she's using the same principle as Kotoko belief, creates reality, but for a totally different end.
Exactly. Rika wants to impose a single powerful manufactured truth onto the world for her own benefit. Kotoko uses multiple pragmatic fictions to maintain balance.
The monster born from one big lie is destroyed by several smaller, smarter lies.
That's a good summary.
So bringing it all together then, what's the big takeaway from Kyokou Suiri?
I think it's that truth, both for humans and spirits in this world, is often fundamentally a social construct.
It's built on the best story available, the one that resonates emotionally and seems logical enough.
Pretty much. A really compelling fiction can have more real-world impact, more power than a messy or unconvincing fact.
And that feels incredibly relevant right now, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Think about our online world. Social media, misinformation that goes viral, deep fakes.
Trying to figure out what's real versus what's just a well-made story is a huge challenge for you, for everyone.
The show taps right into that modern anxiety.
And Kotoko and Kuro themselves, they embody this whole theme of being in between, right?
Perfectly. Kotoko. Human turned god, liar who serves order, Kuro. Human turned monster, destroyer who preserves life.
They live in those gray areas. Between human and yōkai, truth and lies, order and chaos.
And their partnership somehow makes that paradox work. It's a delicate balance.
So yeah, as you can probably tell, Kyokou Suiri is way more than just monsters and mysteries.
It's a deep dive, really, into how we build realities, using Japanese folklore as the lens for these very modern questions.
It's definitely a show that makes you think. A really rewarding watch if you give it the attention it deserves.
So maybe the final thought from you is this. In this world overflowing with narratives, with information, and deliberate fictions, how do you decide what's real for yourself?
And what role do you play? What responsibility do you have in the stories you choose to accept and the ones you share?
Heavy questions, but the kind the show leaves you pondering.
Yeah, definitely. So we highly recommend checking out Kyokou Suiri, see how it challenges your own ideas about truth. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.